How was the world biggest financial scam was perpetuated by an individual or an organization or a group? Let us look into the basic methods and methodologies that was used to commit this massive financial fraud as per Heisenberg research. Vanakkam. Hi, truth lovers. Welcome to SIP, South Indian Perspective, putting the voice of South Indians first. Today, our topic of discussion is the biggest scam in corporate history. Yes, I'm talking about Adani and Heisenberg research. How was the world biggest financial scam was perpetuated by an individual or an organization or a group? Let us look into the basic methods and methodologies that was used to commit this massive financial fraud as per Heisenberg research. Past 10 days, you would have heard about this Heisenberg and Adani name so often in newsletters, pamphlets, and banners all over the world, especially in those involved the financial industry. And what actually happened here, and what are the findings of this research? Let us look into the details on an layman's language. So, in one line, if I could say what the research does is that this Heisenberg is a company run by 4 to 5 people put together. It has an employee of less than 10. What they do, they're basically an investment research firm. The company, what it does, it basically investments share suggestions to individuals and company what share to buy, what not to buy, and it does a deep financial research on big companies. If they're going to find any fault in them, they're going to make money out of fault of the big corporates' mischievous activities. So likewise, they choose a company called Adani, and what made them choose? An individual who ranked around 600 to 650 ranked in the world richest person suddenly in a period of 4 years tops the list of top 10. So he's coming as the world third richest person in a short span of 4 years. So, so on an average, a company can grow around 10%, 20%. This is a normal growth of any organization. Suddenly, if a company grows 100%, 200%, 300%, this will cause a raise of huge eyebrows among the common man and but also among financial analysts all over the world. And understanding the financial position of this company would be a great interest among financial analysts all over the world. In this way, Heisenberg got interest in this company and he did a small research for almost 2 years in which the Adani shares are artificially manipulated and the value of the shares is raised beyond its original value. And there was huge borrowing of funds and investment has happened, and a lot of malpractice has been found. And there's also they've also done a lot of interviews with the ex-employees and balance sheet study and foreign investment that they've done and import and export data were analyzed, and in that they found out that there is a lot of artificial inflation of share value has been done, and the money trails are disappearing here and there, and it's getting invested in shell companies. So these are the common malpractice that's been found among perpetuators, and it is also found here. So let us see what are the proof that he gives to support his theory and what are the impacts it's going to have. We are going to see in detail in 6 basic categories: who is Heisenberg research and his track records, who is Adani, what made him interested in Adani, and what led to Adani, and Heisenberg research findings, fraud concepts used, socio political and economical impact of this scam. Let's see a short story and how Heisenberg came into existence. So imagine there is a person who is very loyal, to the government who is a good person but has no money. And he's able to find a lot of people amassing wealth to through fraudulent activities. So he's not able to solve it or stop them, but he wished to do it, and he also want to make a money out of it. What does he do? In India, what they do is you're great intellect and you find a lot of irregularities. You tend to find the financial frauds and you give it this information to the income tax department. The income tax department rates those companies and organizations, and if they find the fraudulent activities, yes, they will be arrested. In this way, you're able to establish justice, and for giving those information, you also get tip. So it will be like 5% or 4%. I'm not sure on the percentage value. So percentage of the whole amount that was caught is also tip. This is legally done. This is what happens in India. The same way, this Heisenberg company, what it does, it finds a fraudulent company and makes money out of it, and in turn makes the company exposed by way even the wrong doer is also punished and they also make money out of it. This is the basic thing that Heisenberg does. And basically, what in his profile he says that is an he's an share researcher and a financial analyst, and he has a very good track record of that. So let us take one example of a track record. So in 2020 September, he did a report on Nikola. It is one of the biggest organization in USA, and it has done some fraudulent activities, made false promises, and even top companies in US were also got fooled. Like General Motor was also being fooled by this, and huge share was generated, and the perpetuator has made a lot of money out of it. And Heisenberg done great research on that, and he found out and exposed it, and he also made money through an option called short selling, which we are going to discuss in detail. Who is Adani? Adani is a businessman from Gujarat, and what made him suspicious is that a person who has built a company worth 120 billion company and added 100 billion in last 3 years. Within 3 years, he has added 100 billion, and the percentage of growth of his company was 819% spike in the average growth. Certain sectors of his company growth 1000%. This causes great suspicion to the people. And moreover, if you could check the list of companies that is opened within 9 years, I'll just read out the list of companies. You'll be shocked and amazed. Adani Defense and Aerospace, Adani Airports, Adani Water, Adani Road and Metro Rail, Adani Data Center, Adani Fruits, Adani Edible Oil and Food. This is under Adani Enterprises. And Energy and Utility, if you see, Adani Green Energy, Adani Solar Manufacturers, Adani Power Transmission, Adani Power Distribution, Adani Thermal Power Generator, Adani Gas Distribution, Adani Natural Resources. This is under Energy and Utility. And third category being Transport and Logistics. Adani Agriculture Logistics, Adani Port Terminal, Adani Logistics, Adani Industrial Land and Park, Adani SEZ. These are something which involve huge investments and things that cannot be developed over a very short span of time. It takes huge decades of hard work, planning, and financial uh, injection on that so that it can be grown. But this is something he has made like a magic within a short span of 9 years. These much sectors, they are very different. He was able to grow both in vertical and horizontal direction. Unless until you do a magic, you cannot make these many companies in a short span of time, and no one in the history of world has made it. This caused a great suspicion. And when any financial analyst or any financial firm analyze a company's financial well-being through a term called current ratio. Current ratio is nothing but it's an financial metric that helps to helps the investor to understand the company's ability to cover short-term debt with its current assets. That is, it is calculated by dividing the company's current asset by its current liability. A good current ratio is typically ranging from 1 is to 1. So if a company has a current ratio of 1 is to 1, it's a good company. So I'm going to say a few current ratio of few companies so that you have an understanding. So I've taken three categories. One is TCS. We all know Tata Consultancy Service. Its current ratio is 1.44. Anything above 1 is considered okay. And the current ratio of BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, one of the government organization, is 1.56. And the current ratio of Google, it's 1.9. So anything more than 1 is considered good and okay. And let us take the current ratio of Adani companies. Green energy, zero point 0.5. Power, 0.9. Total gas, 0.2. Transmission, 0.8. Enterprises, 0.7. And Wilmer is the only company which is 1.2. That means he has more liability. He has more liability than that of asset. So it is not safe to invest in a company which has a current ratio less than 1. So Adani, if you see, he has almost all sectors, the current ratio is bad. And the conclusion is that unless until you make a huge financial manipulation, you can't get huge investment of this type for a company whose current ratio is so bad. So when Heisenberg finds out this what has happened, he wants to make money out of it. Naturally, a common man does, as I said as an example, we report to the income tax. In India, you know the power of politics, so they can suppress it. But there, he wants to make money in his expertise, that is through share. And what he does is that he chooses an option called short selling. Through short selling, he wishes to make money out of it. And we always think, as a common man who have not much information on the shares, people make money only when the share value goes up. There is also another thing. Even when the share value goes down, also people make money. How do they make money when share goes down? That's called a bear market. And one of the instruments that is used to make money when the share goes down is the short selling. That is what Heisenberg does. And what short selling is all about? Short selling is a trading strategy in which an investor borrows shares of stocks and then sells the stocks to hope to buy it back at a lower price. If the stock price falls as the investor expects, they can buy back the stock at low price, return the borrowed shares, and keep the difference as profit. Short selling is a way of investment to make profit from declining stock prices, but it also carries significant risk because there's theoretically no limit how much stock price can increase and potential lead to unlimited loss as well. So I'll give a simple example so that we can easily understand. So let us take into an daily understandable example. For example, you have a cell phone and it costs you say 10,000 rupees, and you think the battery of the cell phone is little weak, and this is going to cause a huge problem all over the world for that particular set of cell phone. And what happens here is that you have a third party friend who says he badly needs the 10,000 rupees phone, and he's not uh, compromising on anything. He says he wants it for some cost. So what you say, what you're going to do is that you get money from him. Like since it's a limited edition, it won't be that much, but you have one phone worth 10,000 rupees. What do you do? You ask him to pay 10,000 rupees, and you promise him you'll get the phone in 2 days. And what do you get the 10,000 from that person, and you buy the phone after that day. Within the time, what happens is that there is a news comes wherein they find the fault on the phone, and the cost of that phone drops to 6,000 rupees. And you buy the phone now at 6,000 rupees and ship it to the person who gave you 10,000 rupees. So what's the difference? The difference is 4,000. That 4,000 is the profit that you make out of that business. This is what exactly it does when it comes to share. Share value will be say 5,000, He promises to give that share to a person for 5,000 rupees. Uh, but what happened? Due to some bad news, the share value goes to say 4,000 rupees. Then what do you do? You get the 5,000 for the person, and when the value goes to 4,000, you send the shares to buy the shares for 4,000 and give it to the person whom you promised for 5,000. So in that you make a profit of 1,000 rupees. This is how the short selling works. And this is what exactly what Heisenberg does. This is what exactly what Heisenberg does. Finds the fraudulent activities of Adani, promises, and he's done a short selling as I explained before. And by this way, Heisenberg has made a lot of money. And another thing I want to keep you informed: just because someone says bad about a company, they don't believe it unless until they give a solid proof, evidence that cannot be denied. Such an evidence was produced by Heisenberg, and that's when the shares of Adani has dropped drastically. Almost one third of his share value got eroded by this. And this is the concept that was done, a short selling done by Heisenberg on a company based on the fraudulent activities. So whatever I said is based on Heisenberg's findings, and this is the basic outline of what has happened here. And let us see more in detail in our next part. And thank you, truth lovers. Vanakkam. Do support this channel and hit on like button, click on subscribe button. This is your Maran signing off. Bye.